Hey, it's Mr. Robinson. I'm back again, and as you can see, I'm wearing a three-piece suit again. All right, so you're welcome. Remember, I doubt any other your virtual teachers are wearing a three-piece suit. They probably don't look like this. But let's go ahead and get into the slides for today and the lecture for today. The next unit is the legislative branch, also known as Congress. All right, this is the branch that makes the law. And you know what? I'm going to take my shirt off because now it's a work day. It's time to work. Not my shirt, my jacket. Coat comes off, work starts. All right, and as you see, the coat is off. So, United States Congress created by the first article of the Constitution, or how it's organized. You should know this from the last unit, which was the Constitution. It is organized into two houses, the bicameral legislature. You have the House of Representatives based off population, which is that Virginia plan, and then you have the Senate, which is based off the New Jersey plan, which is equal representation across the board. So this is all basically, it should be reviewed because I taught it to you in the last unit very well, I might add. But you need to know it. All right. What is the main duty of Congress? You're going to need to know this for the whole entire unit. The main duty is to make laws. All right. To pass laws. That's the main duty of Congress. All right. That's what they do. Again, you should know all of this. The House of Representatives. This is where it's kind of getting into new material for you. Again, based off the population of each state. So, in other words, right now, California has the most representatives in the House because guess what? It has the biggest population of any state. It is considered the lower house of Congress. So, here are the requirements here for the House of Representatives. 25 years of age, a United States citizen for 7 years. Okay, and then you have to live in the state that you represent. That's the requirements for the House of Representatives. There's some more things that go along with that. House of representatives are only elected for 2 years at a time. Remember, it's considered the lower house. So once we look at the Senate, the terms are longer. There are differences in the requirements as well. An unlimited amount of terms. In other words, a representative in the House can serve as many terms, as many times as they are elected. This is different from the President of the United States. The President of the United States is limited to only 2 terms. Okay, there's a constitutional amendment with that, the 22nd. So now there are some limits in some states, okay, but there's no constitutional limit on the number of national limit on the number of times a representative can serve. That's up to the individual state. Remember, that has to do with the reserve powers and the principle of federalism, which you also should know because I taught that in the last unit. Okay, I taught it really well. There are 435 total members in the House of Representatives. Okay, so 435. Now, with the Senate, there's a lesser number of members, right? But 435 total in the House of Representatives. The census, or basically the population, determines the amount of representatives each state gets. So California has the most. Wyoming, with the least population, has the least. Now, this is important. In the House of Representatives, each state is divided into districts. That's how a representative represents the district. Okay, this is called apportionment. So in North Carolina, we have 13, I believe, representatives. So there are 13 different districts. Each representative represents a district. Now, how those districts are drawn, this is important, it's called a process of gerrymandering. with gerrymandering, the districts aren't drawn like in squares or in straight lines. They're drawn oddly shaped. Well, why are they drawn like that? Why don't they just cut it like you would cut a pie? Why do you draw it this way and squiggly lines? Well, it's because they the each party wants to maintain power in their district. So they'll draw the district to where it includes only Democratic voters or only Republican voters or, majority Republican, majority Democrats. This ensures that their party will get elected. So, for instance, if, say, there's a district drawn in North Carolina that includes Greensboro and Winston-Salem, those are typically tend to be more Democratic areas. All right, so a Democratic person is one that's going to be elected in that district, if that's the case, if that's how the district is drawn. So that's what gerrymandering is. It's an oddly shaped drawn district to increase the strength of a political party. And again, those representatives, they only represent the voters in their district. So, for instance, in say the Boone, North Carolina district, all right, that representative is not going to represent us here in where we're at in Moore County. So the different representatives represent the different districts. They don't represent the entire state. That's different from the Senate. The Senate is, again, based off that New Jersey plan. Every state is equal. Every state gets 2. Requirements are different. In other words, here's the requirements. 30 years old for the Senate, because the Senate is considered the upper house. So you got to be 30 years old. So it's different than with the House of Representatives, where you only have to be 25. You got to be a citizen for 9 years rather than 7. And then the same requirement is the third one there. You have to live in the state you represent. Why are the requirements different? Well, again, because the Senate's considered the upper house, but they also get to serve longer terms in the Senate. Senators' terms are 6 years. Remember, House of Representatives are 2 years. So it's 6 years. Now, the elections are staggered, so it's not every 6 years the whole entire Senate is up for election. You have a third of the senators are up for election every 2 years. Same as with the House of Representatives, it's an unlimited amount of terms. All right. So there is not a constitutional amendment yet that will limit the number of terms for a senator or a House of Representative member. 100 members, because each state gets 2. The oldest senator was Strom Thurmond, but that's not going to be on the test. But just know that each state gets 2. That's why there are 100 members in this Senate. Now, it's different is the senator represents everyone from the state. Remember, those House of Representatives, the representative only represents the district. The senator represents everyone from that individual state. So this is some of the benefits that congressional people in Congress get. They get they get paid, obviously. They get space at the Capitol, so they get an office. They get what's called a franking privilege, which means the right to send job-related mail without a postage cost. Limitations, they have to obey laws. Okay, we all should do that. All right, let's be honest. Impeachment, this is important. So impeachment is basically being forced, it's a process, but it's being forced to resign from office. And it goes with the Congress and also the Supreme Court. But recently we had a president who was they impeached him, but he wasn't convicted, so he wasn't forced to be removed from office. But that's impeachment. If the person is convicted in an impeachment trial, they are forced to be removed from office. They have to leave. The sessions of Congress. So each Congress serves 2 years and given a number. But here's really the important is they meet from January to November, December. All right. So they have there's congressional session where they meet and then they break. They have a break. The president can call them into special sessions. So that's kind of an example of how the different branches work together. With the president, the executive branch can call the different the other branch Congress into a special session. And I believe that is it. So that's just an introduction. Now, this whole unit is on Congress or the legislative branch, but that's just an introduction. You can use this information here that I just given you to answer the questions on the Intro to Congress assignment on Canvas.